yellow tape shit.
What's going on, guys? Towelman Purple here with Yellow Tape DFS, here to give you my take on Week 2 of the NFL for the main slate. We're going to start by diving right into Vegas odds. If you look, you'll see the Broncos against Jaguars, 25.5 to 19.5, 45 points. Buffalo, 25.75 to 22.25, 48-point total. 17.5 for the Texans and 30.5 for the Browns, 48-point game total. Bengals 21.5, Bears 23.5, 45-point total. The Niners and the Eagles 26.5, 23.5, 50-point game total. Saints and Carolina 24.5, 20.75, 45-point game total. The Rams with 25.5 and Colts at 22 for a 47.5-point total. The Raiders and the Steelers 28.25 and 26.75 for 47 total points. You have the Patriots at 24.5 and the Jets at 18.5 for 43 total points. The Vikings at 23.75 and the Cardinals at 27.25 for 51 total points. The Falcons 19.5 and the Bucks at 31.5 for 51 total points. The Cowboys with 25.5 and the Chargers with 29 for 54.5 total points. And then last on main slate would be the Titans with 23.5 and the Seahawks with 30 at 53.5 total points. So obviously the things that make most sense is targeting the games with the highest point totals, right? So everything that you see on this with this shade of green, you're looking at Seahawks and Titans, Cowboys and Chargers, Bucks and Falcons, Vikings, Cardinals, Niners, Eagles. Those are going to be the games that are more sought after. And even probably some consideration for the Browns, right? Primarily, you're looking at Nick Chubb if you're up that many. So, moving along, let's refresh this page and check out the weather conditions for the Week 2. Now, I am seeing mostly clear, humid, overcast, light rain. Possible light rain with the Falcons versus the Bucks, and the same would go for the Titans and the Seahawks. So we'll have to keep a close eye on that as far as when it gets closer to game time. Obviously, if there's a lot of rain and wind, it would make it more of a ground game. That's something to keep an eye on. All right, so now going over to looking at players. So let's start by lineups. Create a lineup. Obviously classic. Oh, sorry. That's the right one there. And then starting off at quarterback. Let's go over the quarterbacks that I like this week. Kyler Murray. I think he's a great play this week. He is priced up a little bit, though, at $8,200. It's a little expensive. So that's a at will, at risk situation. Russell Wilson, I do like this game. Obviously, these are the games that are going to have higher point totals as well. Russell Wilson, I see him having a great game. Tennessee's secondary is abysmal. Josh Allen, probably looking for a bounce back game, but I'm not necessarily comfortable with paying $7,200 at the moment. I don't mind a run back with Tom Brady. Dak was looking great. I don't mind him. Same thing goes with Herbert. Either side of that game, that's a good game to stack. Jalen Hurts, I also don't mind. He kind of showed out week 1. Let's see if he continue doing that. I don't mind Stafford as well. He's balling out. That's a great fit for him over there with the Rams. Tannehill, obviously, the other side of the game. I also like running him. Another mention, Jameis Winston, Mr. Laser Surgery with 5 touchdowns. I don't mind running it back with him. Further down, Joe Burrow. I don't mind playing this guy with potentially Chase or Boyd. You know, they're in favorable matchups, but we'll get to that later. Matt Ryan is okay if you're trying to see them sling the ball, because that's pretty much all they're going to be able to do, right? Is they're going to have to try to play keep up because the Bucs are they're just that team. And then Mac Jones at 5,400. I like the kid. I think he's going to have a good shot against the Jets. I think he'll definitely perform better than he did last game with 15 point something points. But not saying his last game was bad. I just want more production from him. But at 4,400, that was great. I'm looking for him to do 20, 23 points. All right, moving along to running backs. There's always arguments for playing McCaffrey, Cook, Kamara. Those guys are everywhere. Henry, I'm definitely more on Henry if it is raining. I would definitely lean more on Henry if it is raining, only because that price point, and if it's a shootout or Seattle goes up a touchdown or two, then the idea of running the ball is going to become less and less likely. Nick Chubb, however, happens to be one of my favorite plays this week, so he will be one of my core plays for the week. You're going against Houston, who is abysmal against the run game. Nick Chubb is obviously just a complete stud. We saw what happened last week to Houston. I definitely see it being mirroring with a back that is better. Okay, then let's move further down. Eckler, I don't mind running, but I probably won't get too much of him, but he's still in the conversation. Same thing with Joe Mixon. Miles Sanders, that's a tough call with Miles Sanders because I think the Niners' run defense is pretty decent, even though it's misleading here. So I may sprinkle him in, but I'm not going to get much. Najee Harris looking for a bounce back game at 6,300, I think is a great price. This is definitely a guy you want to play if you're playing cash games. I'm 100% in on this guy if you're playing cash. He's probably going to be the most owned player on as far as ownership percentages go. Ezekiel Elliott is also probably going to look for a bounce back game at 6,200. His price dwindled down. If he has a bad game here, then I may have to play a lot of him next week if he goes sub 6K, right? In regards to who they play. We'll just take a glance, but we'll do that later. David Montgomery, I do like him at 6,100. I love catching backs. This is a PPR format. He did have over 100 yards on 16 attempts and hauled in one reception on one target for 10 yards. He had over 20 fantasy points. Sign me up with this gentleman. Melvin Gordon going against Jacksonville's abysmal defense in a beautiful spot. Now, he only did rush the ball 11 times and got 101 yards. Caught all 3 of his targets for 17 yards. So, if he is keeping workload, we want more workload than that, right? But he is going against a run defense that's abysmal, so I do like Melvin Gordon. Further down, is there anybody else like really on the cheaper spectrum that I could see myself go to? And the answer would be yes. Devin Singletary going against Miami. We saw what happened last week with Damian Harris. He ran all over them. He did 100 yards. And I don't feel like Singletary's going to have a problem running against Miami. Chase Edmonds, another catching back, $4,900. This guy's a starting running back, guys. I don't mind it. He only had 12 attempts and 4 targets for 4 receptions. If you just increase the yardage, that's fine. Ronald Jones II. If the game's running, if the game is raining, then running is going to be more prominent. I don't mind putting Ronald Jones in there. If you're looking for if you want a shot in the dark, you're throwing a dart, Peyton Barber is said to be the candidate to fill in for Josh Jacobs in the Raiders. So that would be a nice little 4K player. Now moving along to wide receivers. Hopkins. Yes, that game's going to have a great point total overall. I do like DK Metcalf. Diggs, if you think this game is going to be... Diggs is always in play, right? Don't get me wrong. Ridley, they're going to be playing from behind. He is their number one. Definitely sign me up. Tyler Lockett, I like him. Let's see further down. Keenan Allen. This is one of my favorite plays for the week as well. This guy is always a target share monster. 13 targets, 9 receptions, 100 yards. All right, I like Keenan Allen. I think this is another game where obviously Dallas' secondary is terrible. You can put that guy as one of my core plays for the week of the main slate of Week 2 NFL football. Moving along, obviously Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb, those guys are going to be in play for that game. It's going to be a high-scoring game. according to Vegas. I do like Allen Robinson a lot. Also another target share monster. He had 11 targets, 6 receptions against a very tough Rams defense. Now you're going against the Bengals. I like Allen Robinson. Mike Evans. He's got a great coverage matchup this week. I don't see a problem playing Mike Evans. Cooper Kupp, another one of my favorite guys this week. He's got an insane matchup as well. And with Matthew Stafford there, they're having a nice connection. So you can sign me up with that. Let's see. Antonio Brown. I don't mind running it back with him. Brandon Cooks. I don't know who else they really got there. Brandon Cooks is definitely in play. It's going to be a tough game. They're going to be playing from behind. It says they're going to be playing from way behind. So if you did want to run back with Chubb, Cooks is great for that, especially if you're game stacking, right? Then moving along, you're going to have I like Jacoby Myers. I like Jamar Chase. Both of those guys are very good. Jacoby Myers was the lead target shareholder for the Patriots. Chase made his nice debut, got himself in the end zone, was 5 for 7. Looking to replay that here against the Bears. Other honorable mentions down there, Tyler Boyd at 4,700. That's pretty cheap. Marvin Jones Jr. at 4,700, also pretty cheap. Russell Gage, if you wanted somebody else in Atlanta, don't mind going there. Obviously, Waddle, that guy showed himself in Miami. That guy's going to be getting a lot of targets this year. Beyond that, let's see. Pittman Jr., they're definitely playing from behind. It's going to be a tough matchup. They're playing against the Rams. The Rams defense is great, but if you wanted to target somebody in that game, that'd be where I'd go. KJ Hamler. Okay, there's no Jerry Jeudy, guys. With Jerry Jeudy, he had 4 targets. Without Jerry Jeudy, he will have, potentially 8 targets. This guy is one of the fastest guys in the NFL and probably one of the fastest guys in the world. I'm definitely not counting this guy out at $3,800. So that's a nice little cheap play to put in. Moving along to tight ends. Darren Waller, 7,600. He's priced up, but rightfully so. This guy is the Raiders. 19 targets. Okay, 105 yards and a touchdown. 19 targets. Just going to repeat that again, all right? George Kittle, yep, I don't mind playing him against Philly. Same thing with Kyle Pitts. Once again, they're playing from behind. That's their number 2. As far as for Matt Ryan looking at someone, Rob Gronkowski at 4,700. Let's run it back. I'm normally not a fan of run backs, but we're going to run this back because he's just in a great spot. Atlanta suffers from the tight ends. Rob Gronkowski out there looking like he's still young. I'm all in. Then let's go with remaining core plays for you guys. So, going back to running backs and receivers. In the receiver section, we already had Keenan Allen. I'm also going to throw in there Cooper Kupp. 10 targets, 7 receptions, 108 yards, and a touchdown. I see this being repeated against the Colts. I see Cooper Kupp going to have a good matchup. It's just somebody that I think that is just easy to plug and play. All right, and then if we want another running back, I would then choose to probably go with David Montgomery. 16 attempts, 108 yards, a touchdown, 1 target, 1 reception, 10 yards. I do like David Montgomery. Yeah, it's going to be David Montgomery for me. So this will be my core 4. All right. Now, if you're new to the channel, please smash that like button. Ring that bell notification to stay up to date on all the upcoming content. If you have any questions or concerns, please link it in the video. For everyone that's already following the channel, thank you for your support. Now, there are more things that we do have coming. I don't know if you guys already do so, but if you don't, go ahead and follow me on Twitter, okay, at TowelmanPurple. Same thing goes for Instagram, TowelmanPurple, because on Twitter, you will see my actual lineup. I will be giving out either a cash lineup or a GPP lineup over on Twitter, so make sure that you follow me there. The same thing goes, there will be different content on each platform. Hopefully we get everybody into the green. Want to make this great, and I hope you guys get the
Purple, yes sir. Got that purple.